What's going down? TK coming at you. Just wanted to really hit on this concept of emotional charge reaction because when you're acting out of emotion, you can't really think straight. And a lot of people have all of this emotionally charged reaction, which leads to no action that creates change. All of this grandstanding, marching. I mean, realistically, you need an outcome that produces change. When the marching is done, you're going to go back to your life and you're going to go back to what didn't work. So at some point, the conversation needs to shift and the conversation needs to really focus on actions that cause change. Since 2010, I've been talking about Bitcoin income outside of fiat, outside of your job, extra income from Bitcoin that allows you to leverage other people's time and create empowerment. Change comes from financial empowerment. Change comes from education, financial literacy, raising your financial IQ, actually doing things differently that create a situation where doors open. Financial doors that used to be closed to you are now open because you can participate economically and you can begin to set precedents within your community. You know, all of the things that go viral and the things that people gravitate to tend to be things that are fruitless, things that have no substance. And that's what people are willing to propagate. And it's a psychological attack. You know, there's a psyop that is in full swing right now in terms of playing off your emotions and getting you to focus on smoke, things that aren't tangible, the things that really create no change, right? And that's what we do over and over. And then we expect a different result. At some point, we have to do something that empowers people. You know, everything begins with finance, everything begins with unity, everything begins with people congregating around effective actions that produce substance. If you open the door to a worldwide distribution system, if you open the door to becoming your own bank, if you open the door to the concept of no borders, the concept of you taking control of what you can and cannot do with your income, all of these things is what Bitcoin opens. But when you speak this way, people are like, I don't get Bitcoin. I don't understand. Well, people don't understand how a microwave works, but they can get hot food in 10 seconds. So you don't need to understand the technicalities behind how something works in order to use it and get functionality out of it. You can leverage your time and other people's time to create an income in Bitcoin and set yourself up where you're no longer relying on a third party intermediary that dictates what you can and can't do and controls access and creates engineered scarcity. Those are the problems that we have within fiat, not to mention the overprinting, the quantitative easing, the world switching to electronic media, the digital economy becoming a reality, and people just overlooking those things. You know what you don't have access to, you know what you can't afford. So, opening the door to alternative forms of income like Bitcoin gives you the option, the power, the financial freedom to make decisions and open doors that's never been available to you. Those are the things that people should rally around. Those are the things that should go viral. Those are real movements that create real change. And it just amazes me how many people are not willing to talk about anything that creates change. How people are willing to just propagate everything that is smoke and that dissipates and that has no substance. At some point, you have to do something meaningful. Tearing up things, destroying things is not meaningful. That's an emotionally charged reaction based on a limited amount of experience and a limited amount of knowledge. If you travel the world, you realize that everywhere else in the world, it's about nationality. It's not about a Crayola or some color. That is something that's been made up here in the United States to create subjugation and control. Because when you're focusing on smoke, everything that is relevant goes right over your head. So you're not a crayon. Financial success is what matters. Financial empowerment matters. To change your situation and raise your financial IQ matters. Bitcoin provides all of that. One of my friends said, well, I just don't understand Bitcoin. How do you spend it? Well, how do you spend cash? You probably don't understand how the Federal Reserve is not federal and not a part of the US government, but yet still controls the monetary printing supply within our economy. But that doesn't stop you from going to the store and spending $1. So the same concept applies to Bitcoin when it comes to what you don't understand. You put Bitcoin on a Bitcoin debit card like BitPay, and it spends like any other debit card. So you don't need to understand something in order to use it as something that can change or create change and empower you. When people get serious about change is when they finally will see results. As long as people continue to focus on smoke, no change will ever happen. And that's what is propagated, and that's what continuously gets promoted. Everywhere else in the world, it's about nationality, except in the United States. Your birthright doesn't come from a color. Your birthright comes from the land in which you were born in. So the first problem is that everyone was been told a lie that they came from somewhere else. When your forefathers and your ancestors came from this land and has always been tied to this land. The people of this color has always been tied to this land. The Aboriginal people of this land always had this color. The original Moors and Moriscas who was here actually was in control before the Europeans. So not knowing history, not knowing your ancestral birthright, not knowing nationality, and then identifying yourself as a color helps the subjugation and helps the control that is being basically played upon when they trigger your emotions. You guys need to wake up. You guys really need to get to the heart of the problem, the root of the cause, and stop focusing on these triggered psyops. What's the end goal? What's the result? Where is the overall picture? This is 3D chess. What is the topographical view from above the chessboard? Why do you not have the power to break free from the emotional change that are being triggered? It starts with financial education. It starts with financial literacy. It starts with financial empowerment. And Bitcoin provides that because it is a worldwide distribution model that is not tied to an intermediary where you have to ask permission from some other corporation to access your funds. So having a Bitcoin income is financial empowerment because it doesn't involve begging somebody else for access.